Yeah. Sounds on.
Good evening, you all. Welcome to the program.
Jan.
No, you
I
can't.
can. Yes, I can.
Okay, folks, it is 6:30. Do make sure that everyone has signed in, so I know there was a sign-in sheet going around for the contractors, but this is our sign-in sheet, so make sure you get that. And then it's customary that we start each meeting with a pledge, so if everyone would please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
As long as we fight for it.
Yeah.
Suzanne, if you would do a roll call, please.
David Kingsbury,
Here.
Bob Curry,
Here.
Bill Purcell,
Here.
Kenneth Sebastian,
Here.
Norm Warner,
Here.
Ernie Default,
Here.
Donna McIntyre, here, Mike Swafford.
Here.
Okay, commission, you have had the minutes from the October the 18th meeting presented to you. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
So by Bill, seconded by Bob. All in favor of the minutes? Show of hands. 2,
Abstain, I wasn't here.
6, yes, 1 abstain, and no, 0 no votes. Boy, made that harder than it had to be. Old business, public hearing. So tonight, the only thing on the agenda, other than the new business calendar, would be the proposal for the comprehensive plan. So I would now open the public hearing. Please let this gentleman finish with his presentation. At the end of that, there will be public comment. However, due to the size of the crowd and the fact that I would like to hear from multiple people, we are going to limit it to 3 minutes per. Donna McIntyre is going to do our timing. She'll give you the 1 minute sign so that you know. And if we could please keep it moving, I know everyone would appreciate it. So with that being said, go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, my name is Matt Ford. I'm with Southern Indiana Development Commission, and I'm the grant administrator on this project. And we are holding the public hearing for the Owen County Comprehensive Plan. Public hearing is being held on November 15th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. at the Owen County Courthouse. The meeting was advertised in compliance with Indiana Code IC 531. The meeting was advertised in the Spencer Evening World on November 2nd, 2022. The purpose of the meeting is to provide citizens the opportunity to express their views on community development and housing needs, past community development and housing activities, and the proposed project, which consisted of obtaining grant funds to complete a comprehensive plan for Owen County. Specifically, the plan evaluated land use, government and fiscal capacity, public facilities and services, placemaking, economic development, housing, transportation, agriculture, natural resources, parks and recreation, broadband access, historic and archaeological resources, and hazard mitigation. The plan also included an evaluation of existing conditions, vision and key goals, implementation, and public input. Upon completion, the plan should assist Owen County for the next 5 to 10 years. The total cost of the project is $66,700. The grant amount requested is $60,000, and the local match of $6,700 came from Owen County Riverboat funds on hand. The costs included the completion of the comprehensive plan by SB Research and Planning, and for the administration of the grant. No displacement occurred as a result of this project. And then I just want to go through some notes on the application and the planning process. So the comprehensive plan, planning grant application was submitted to the Office of Community and Rural Affairs on July 15th, 2021. The application went through a threshold review process to make sure that it included the required documentation such as public hearing information and signature pages in order to be funded. The application also had to meet a minimum scoring requirement in order to be funded. The application passed the threshold review and met the minimum scoring requirement and was funded by Okra on September 10th, 2021. A draft of the comprehensive plan was submitted to Oprah in June of 2022. Then a revised copy of the plan was sent to Oprah in September of 2022. Oprah, which is the state agency that oversees these planning grant funds, reviewed the plan to ensure that it meets the minimum technical specifications for a comprehensive plan and approved Owen County's comprehensive plan on October 18th, 2022. Basically just means that it meets the technical specifications that was outlined by Oprah. So I'm confident that this plan meets the state and federal requirements for both the application process and the planning process. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Scott, who will go through the findings of the plan itself.
Good evening. Thank you for meeting tonight and for working through the long process of the comp plan. The process took longer and was more lively than originally scheduled, and I accept responsibility for my role in that. However, the good news is that there's tremendous public engagement during this, which is encouraging for the plan itself and also for the continuing community discussions on the county's future. I've done many plans before, and I've never seen this level of participation. Just a public meeting that drew in 240 people alone was a record for me. With this document, and now the commission will have the reach and the background and the research needed to move forward, and I can confidently report that there's a broad segment of the public now aware of what's going on, of these discussions, and of future discussions. Speaking of which, many members of the steering committee, especially the people who were added, if you recall, we doubled the size of the steering committee to include more of the agricultural community, said they would express an interest in continuing to work with you as you move forward. There's some steering committee members here tonight. Can you stand up just briefly or wave your hands? I thank you. They said they continue to look into it. I don't know, maybe they're slow learners, but they want to stick with the process. This is our fourth appearance before the Plan Commission. Many of you also attended the steering committee meetings and public meetings, so I will spare you going over the entire plan again tonight. Instead, what I just want to hit is a few of the highlights and a little bit of the background to set it up. I've only got about a dozen slides. Suzanne? Since we...
That's a good one.
Apparently,
It's right there. There it is.
hold on, let me go out of there. Gotta find it now.
Forget to pay for it.
No, it disappeared.
Just at the front was there, but the rest of it was gone.
No, yeah. Did you bring your flash drive?
Yes,
Okay.
I broke the blue tape.
Here, I got it.
While we're waiting on this, I would like to thank the folks that were added to the steering committee, especially the ones that had the meetings outside of the meetings. Can't remember your name, but I appreciate all your help with the steering committee and with the gathering of people and getting information.
Just in
Because
case.
that's what's gonna make it better for all of us.
Great, so tonight I just want to briefly review some of the changes and talk about what's next. Keep going, keep going. Since the October meeting, we just keep clicking these through, I guess. The third draft was posted with the project website, included the changes that you asked for at that October meeting. Another guide to changes was also posted on the website so people could see the old and the new. Another version was sent to you all to review. New hard copies were made available at the library and extension office. And then the steering committee was notified of the changes. And then on October 20th, as Matt mentioned, Oprah approved the comprehensive plan as meeting all their technical requirements and procedures. This, all right, well, this is just, you've seen probably this, a 2-page guide. I just put it up there to point out a couple of things on page, it's like an eye test. You had asked for some changes to the land use map, and we made those for the mineral extraction, I think. Next page, please, Suzanne. And then 2 things that will be of use to you, we added in the final plan. One was, we took all the action items and put them in a chart. So we took the goals and lined up all the action items. That way you can work through the ones you wanna work through the ones you don't. And then we also added a section on funding possibilities, other state grants and things that you could pursue to start going forward, and some things that are important to you. Next one, please. Again, I've just got a brief summary of key points. These are some of the broad issues. We have a development policy, and we know that this county has steep topography and other obstacles. And again, the message we heard is, it's time for us, time for the county to take a careful look at what types of development you want and do not want, and to install the planning tools needed to achieve those goals. Here's the land use map, and you see over to the far right, I think around Gosport area, some of the areas you'd ask to be added. For public facilities, again, Owen County must strategically invest in facilities and services to ensure a stable quality of service. We talked a lot about that, about not overextending yourself, about doing things incrementally. For economic development, one of the main messages is that there's more opportunities maybe than we originally thought. Again, I've been, visiting Owen County for years, and there's a lot more activity here now than I can remember in recent memory. And so that's why we're here today, to try and get the tools that we need to direct that growth. Housing was a big issue. Gosh, even residents who don't want things to change recognize that there still needs to be more options for the people in all parts of their lives. Young families who want to return to Owen County, senior citizens who want a place to live, have a place to work here. And so once again, the plan talks about how to work with local neighborhoods and developers to prepare and incentivize the type of housing you want and to discourage the housing you do not. What's next? In December, pending tonight's outcome, the Owen County Comprehensive Plan will be presented for approval to the Owen County Commissioners. And then after that, you guys still have, as a New Year's bonus, a second workshop with KK Gearhart Fritz. She says hello, by the way, and she'll come back again, pending tonight's outcome, to work with you guys in a workshop about more thoroughly how to use the plan. Keep going. So, the comprehensive plan provides a roadmap for the development of Owen County's most precious resource, which has been reminded to me many times during this process, is the land itself. The plan can help advise the commission as it reviews petitions by providing information on existing conditions, future land use, goals, and implementation. And with it, the plan commission can provide guidance on how the community can grow responsibly. By implementing the land use plan, primarily through passing zoning and ordinances, which would be the next wave if you want to, local government can achieve its vision for the land. Again, I could talk about this for hours, believe me, but I just wanted to keep it short and open up for any other sort of comments or questions that you might have.
Okay, does anybody on the planning commission have any comments or questions?
There's more.
At this time, we can open it up to the public. I would just ask that before you make your comment, just state your name and where you're from, and then any comments that you would have.
Nobody say anything?
You have kids?
Okay, I'll. Yeah, I'm gonna say. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Baron Barnett. I've been in Owen County for a little over 22 years, lived up in the northwest corner. I've been looking at these various variations of the plan over the last 7 or 8 months, even the last one I came up with. And in my opinion, I've studied the effects of the plan in comparison with the people that I talked to up in Howard County who've already adopted these plans. The deal about it is it all centers up on the so-called Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, is OCRA. And membership, you have to throw membership into that, and then you get access to a lot of money. So the draw on this is cash, money. And I know how the politicians think. They say, well, I can go ahead and sign up for this, get involved in this, and we'll go forward, and then that'll give us access to all this money. Well, if you talk to the people up north that's been doing this for a couple of years, you'll find out that money does not necessarily go to your county. Because under the regionalism form of government, which is run by committees rather than elected officials, you'll find out that the committees will find out where all the access funds go to. So they can actually use money out of your county to support other counties and other activities. So regionalism, which is a form of socialism, okay, right? Which you guys are not aware of, but because you won't study it,
But if you look at it, it's a committee form of government and supersedes the republic. Everybody here tonight gave pledge of allegiance to the republic with which we stand. But this Okra, this deal they want you to sign up for, right, is run by committees. And the Indiana codes, which I've published before, will state specifically that there's the 7 and 11 type of committees. So that means you get 2 representatives from Owen County, right, to sit on the committee, then the other 5 get to vote. So they just outvote you every time, okay? Because when they talk about stakeholders and shareholders and all this kind of stuff that sounds, you got 1 minute. When they use these buzzwords, everybody's a stakeholder, everybody's a shareholder, that is a bunch of bull. Because believe me, shareholders and stakeholders are represented by corporation, land development, and people who want to get access to the resources and the people and the money from Owen County. So in my opinion, this is a really, really bad deal because of 2 reasons. 1, we're the cattle, they're the stakeholders. Number 2, right, it takes away our ability to govern ourselves in a republic form of government.
Thank you.
My name's Jeremy Hyder. I've actually researched into what Barron's talking about. He's absolutely right, first of all. Second of all, I'd like to point out, everybody's talking about grants like it's some kind of free money. And all a grant is, they grant themselves access to your wallet and take it out somewhere else. Government has no money, it never has. It doesn't create anything, doesn't do anything, it just steals from you and gives it to somebody else. So that's what a grant is. Thirdly, I'd like to point out how conveniently this commission, who's already been questionable, conveniently pushed this vote past the election. That's all I've got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Darrell White. I live on Patricksburg Road. I've been an Owen County resident, lived here for 76 years now, and I'd like to ask a question. Has there ever been a previous comprehensive plan in Owen County?
Yes,
1,
2010.
2010. And did we follow that comprehensive plan somewhat in our growth the last 10 years? Somewhat. I'd just like to go on record saying that I really believe in this community. I think we have a lot of potential. We have 2 really good employers in our community that any other community in southern Indiana would give a lot to have between Boston Scientific and Cook. We need, I think, some guidance with our growth. We've seen problems the last 10 years with a stone quarry near a housing development, with a shooting range near houses. There's been a lot of problems and legal expenses associated with both of those. I think if we had a good plan going forward and the following zoning and planning ordinances to follow this, because as I understand, the plan has no legal standing at all. It's just a roadmap for us to move forward. So I would strongly encourage the Zoning and Planning Commission to pass this comprehensive plan tonight so it can move forward, so Owen County can continue to move forward as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
I'll just add, I don't speak for Okra, I'm not an employee by Okra, but you did not join a membership to get this grant. And there's been a lot of money that has come into Owen County over the last 10 years through Okra that stayed here in the county. There's a rural health center that received Okra funding in Spencer. This courthouse received an ADA grant through Okra. So when Okra talks about regionalism, they're talking about working together within a community. Spencer, Gosport, Owen County. And so I just think it's important to point that out, so I just wanted to add that into the public hearing record.
Any other comments?
I've got a comment. I've read this thing a number of times now. And when I look at it as far as the county goes, in that picture, all I see from this plan is a directive for Spencer, to grow Spencer, to provide housing, to provide roads, to provide possible employment. But I don't see anything that enhances the county per se. We control the use of farmland, riverways, roadways, but we don't enhance the county. Now, we want to build parks and rec and have a commission to do that. That's great for the town. It doesn't do much for the county. We need to build county. We can't get any help north of the Mason-Dixon line, which is highway or state route 67. Anything north of that doesn't get recognition. I've begged this community, the council, the people who are supposed to work with the county, to come out on the north side of 67 and give those businesses some help. We don't get help. No one shows up. They don't enhance meetings up there. This plan is for Spencer. I'm sorry, but that's where it goes with me. And that's my comment.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
Are we at a place for commissioners to comment? Because I thought you were still on the
Yes,
public.
anybody can comment at this point.
When this was first presented to us, I had lots of problems with it. I wore out a highlighter, highlighting the problems with it.
Right.
I mean, literally bought a new highlighter.
Mine's pretty weak.
And I was not very nice with Scott because I don't think they did their due diligence in putting together the original plan, because there was a lot of inaccuracies. I personally don't like planning and zoning, but it's a necessary evil. Not everybody will treat their neighbor like I would treat my neighbor. So you have to have some sort of, and we've already got a plan in place that is outdated, not used, and it's gonna come back to bite us in the rear end like the quarry did, like the gun range, like the waste transfer station. We finally dodged that bullet, and all it did was cost us a lot of money to fight a plan that was inactive, or not really usable. The real secret to this is when we start writing the rules that go along with that, and that's, I hope we don't farm it out to an outsider. And I hope we don't hire a local attorney who writes everything that they can drive a semi-truck through every rule we have. That we take on that responsibility. I think we have the best plan available. Yes, I fear regionalism, that one day they're gonna say, oh, well, we can manage an Owen, Monroe, Greene County as a unit. That's a fear that everybody has.
And that's understandable.
And, and we've made that mistake whenever we consolidated schools. We took small manageable problems and made them large unmanageable problems. But I think we have the best thing that we can do. I think, Scott, you spent a couple hours in my office beating on you and getting some changes done. But I think we have as good a plan. Is it what I want? No, I like no planning and zoning, and I want everybody to treat their neighbor like they want to be treated. That's not human nature, unfortunately. So you have to have something, and you have to have something that's enforceable. We have rules right now, we have no way to enforce it. We have septic rules. You have raw septic out on the ground, John Reeves goes out and says, you need to fix this. And if the guy's a prudent guy, he'll say, okay, I'll fix it. Or if he wants to be, he says, make me. And it dies there. And it's still on the ground. So, I said, I'm the first guy to say, I hate planning and zoning. But I also understand it's a necessary evil. We need to keep it locally controlled.
Right.
And my complaint in the beginning was we had a lot of outsiders on the steering committee that fed information to this that did not know this county. And we got that fixed, but that's, yes, regionalism is a concern. Yes, Okra's got a big stick over our heads saying we're gonna give you money. I don't know, but we need money. And that's kind of where we're at.
All right, thank you. And I'll say, in 15 years of doing this, I've never seen a planning process play out like this one did. And I think it played out for the better, through, and more people were able to speak up on the plan and voice their opinion, and I think that's a good thing, so.
And also the comment of pushing this past the election. Some attorney told us we had to have a public hearing at the last meeting, and I think we had 12 people show up. And we had told everyone, we're gonna do this in November. And I'm the one who said we table it, because if we pass this thing tonight, they're gonna say, well, you lied to us. So, you know, the election has nothing to do with it. Myself, other members here who ran for office got defeated. You know, I'm convinced the Cook project cost me my health insurance, because I voted for it, get 89 hate letters, and lose an election by 49 votes. Right. So we've already paid the political penalty for this thing.
Right. I do. Any other comments? Marcy?
So my name is Marcy King, and I don't have a comment on the comprehensive plan tonight. I simply just want to say that this plan has consumed quite a bit of my life over the past year and a half. And I simply want to say that it has been a privilege to do it, because it's a privilege to live in Owen County and to serve it. And regardless of the outcome of this evening, I've learned a lot from the experience. I love being in my county, and I hope I continue to have many more opportunities to serve it in this capacity.
Thank you, Marcy. Any other comments?
So, just one quick one. So I was on the steering committee by proxy because of where I'm setting up here right now. Maybe not my choice of what to do for the last year and a half, but I did it because, there again, it's for Owen County and what's best for us. Gary and I have had a conversation. We've been out to a property that we can do nothing about because of our ordinances and how outdated they are. This is step one. We have to fix those things so that we don't have the raw sewage on the ground. We don't have truckloads of trash dumped on a property and it's like, oh, well, I'm not doing it, so you guys just live with it. This is step one. The ordinances is step two. We get those tightened up, and what I would like to see in the ordinances, and I've said this from day one, is who's responsible, not just here's what has to happen, but which department takes care of it? Who do I call and say, this is yours, and that's where the buck stops? Because right now, it's one of these numbers, you know? So we get it lined out to where we know who's in charge of it, who takes care of it, and it gets taken care of, not, it still hasn't been taken care of as far as I know, and this was back in spring when we were talking about it and went out there. 8 months ago. Right. It's unacceptable. 8 months while we decide what we're gonna do. Let's spell it out. This is step one. Step two is to get the ordinances in place to take care of these things. And yeah, a year and a half of my life, if it's for Owen County, great, I'm all in. I have been since day one. So, and I was in an election and got beat too. If that cost me the election for some houses for people to live in here, so be it. At the end of the day, I'm still for Owen County, regardless. So, that's it for me.
All right, thank you. Anybody can go ahead.
I'm Todd Gardner, I'm with the water company, and here for myself. I too am not a big fan of over-regulating, but we need some regulation. I support the plan, I've read it myself. The water company itself, we have hundreds of people a year come in trying to get us to get water to them. We physically can't do it. You cannot run a water line down a mile of road and catch 15 customers. It's not feasibly possible. You know, it's $1 million to run the line, and we're a nonprofit. You know, our rates seem high. We soften the water, we do the best we can, and we try to reach everybody we can. The planning will help us help figure out where we need to be in the future. It helps us with, when we try to go after grants, one of the things they want to know is, is there been a plan in place? And we did use the previous strategic plan a couple times. It was used when some of our other projects have been help funded. We actually are in the process of trying to do about $8 million worth of projects right now in Owen and Monroe County. That's a huge chunk of change for a small nonprofit water company. We're doing that because of some of the stuff that was in the previous strategic plan. It's helped us get some access to funding we wouldn't have had you not had a plan in place. On a side note, growth's coming. You can either help control it and make sure that things are being done to the best of our ability, or we can just let it blow up and wish we had 10 years from now, because it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. When Monroe County is met its match, we're right there, we're on a highway, you're gonna see growth whether you want it or not. So everybody here, even if you don't wanna see growth, you can't control what your neighbor's gonna do with his property. It's gonna happen. At least have some skin in the game and have some policies set so we can have good growth and have quality growth and regulate some things so we don't end up with things we don't want in the county.
Thank you. Anybody else? Gary?
Gary Burton, County Commissioner. Just want to make a comment to the commission sitting here this evening and the people in this audience. For this to move forward, you're going to have to go before the county council and get the money that it takes to get these zoning ordinances up to snuff to where we can actually enforce something. Because if we don't do that, what we're doing here tonight is null and void. We're not gonna go anywhere farther than what we are, as Norm just spoke. And we have been out on a couple of different projects and issues, and there's no enforcement to back those. I've heard 100,000, 200,000, it doesn't matter what that number is. If this county's gonna grow in the proper way and protect our citizens from all sides, that has to be funded. So I'm asking everybody to get in front of that county council. That's where the money's gonna come from to pay for it. And Amy's here tonight. I'm not picking on you at all, Amy. I'm just saying that you guys are the ones that produce the dollars, so that's where everybody's gonna have to go to make that happen.
Produce the dollars.
That's all I have.
All right, thanks, Gary. Anybody else?
I will remind the public of one thing. We make a recommendation to the commissioners. They do or do not have to agree with our recommendation. So it's not over tonight.
Right.
This is just step one of a two-step process.
That's correct.
Into this pass.
Anybody else? Okay, well, if not, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank everybody for your comments. This process has played out, I think, well as we've gone through to this evening. And with that being said, I will conclude the public hearing at 7:02 p.m.
Turn it over to the planning commission for a vote.
Yes, it's back over to you guys.
All right, folks, so you've heard the presentation, you've heard the public comments. We're at the point where we would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we move forward.
So our motion needs to be either a yes, a no,
I'll
recommendation.
make the recommendation, yes.
No, again,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I know probably the last 4 years I've been rude, and I'm doing it again.
No, you're fine.
This is a little different, I want this one to clarify. This is either, the motion would be to approve the plan. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm not telling you as commissioners to approve it, but you do have in the past, you've had areas where you have had, we are sending it to the commissioners, however, we don't approve, or you've had areas in the past where you said recommendation. But under this statute alone, this is under Indiana Code 36-7-4508. After the public hearing, which has been concluded, the Plan Commission may approve the comprehensive plan. So your motion at this time, if it wants to be made, you don't have to, would be to move to approve the comprehensive plan. There is no passing it to the commissioners with a negative recommendation or no recommendation.
So Donna, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
Make your motion.
Yeah, I make the motion that we move forward with them. I mean, we've sat for several months working with them and they've always come back and went back and edited the stuff that we was in questions on.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve the plan. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second. Amy? Okay, let's put it to a vote. Show of hands. All in favor of approving the plan? Abstain and opposed. Okay, so be 7-1. Right.
Norma, again, if I would.
Yes, sir.
If you voted and you've had your vote, I would recommend this has to be certified. This is purely procedural. You do not have to follow this. But my recommendation is that there would be a motion authorizing you to certify the plan to the commission. So that the county's part of it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to that effect. So the motion is to approve me signing the approval that we just gave, so we can pass it on to the commissioners.
I'll second it.
Second by Donna, she got ahead of you, Mike. So all in favor of me signing this to send to the commissioners? And opposed? So 7-1.
Thank you.
All right, Jim, have we fulfilled all the statutes on this?
Yeah, you complied, you've already went through the public hearing, and you've already went through the notice. This is an official action by the planning commission. You have complied with Indiana Code 36-7-4302, in that it required 5 or more votes. You had to have a majority of the elected members by your vote. You have done that, so you are in compliance with that. You have made your determinations. You've complied with Indiana Code 36-7-4507. You've had notice, you've had 1 or more public hearings, and it's already been documented to comply with Indiana Code 531 as far as the time the plan was allowed to be examined for 10 days before the hearing. You have complied with Indiana Code 36-7-4508. After the public hearing, the Planning Commission may approve the comprehensive plan. You have done so, and you've done the procedural part of allowing the president to go ahead and prepare the certification. As one of your commissioners stated, no, shut up, is that this, you are an advisory. This does not approve the comprehensive plan. This now goes to the Board of Commissioners to make the final approval of the comprehensive plan. It will be impossible to certify this for the next commissioner meeting. Off the top of my head, I believe that is November 21st, but it would be going before then, most likely the certification at the December meeting. I believe that meeting is December 5th, but I could be in error, but it would be at the December meeting that this would go on the commissioners' agenda.
Do you have that date in front of you?
That is the date.
December the 5th?
Yeah. The 5th is on a Monday.
Is that on the commissioners meeting?
December the 5th, commission. Is that a morning meeting or a morning meeting? Yeah. So it'll be 9 o'clock?
Yes.
I will try to be there, but I have to work too, so.
And then ours is the 20th, right? Is that when our next one?
When's our next one, 20th?
I think that's what she said. Yes, Tuesday.
December 20th.
Yeah, December 20th.
December 20th.
The next meeting.
We do have something for that agenda, I'm assuming?
Not at this time.
Not at this time? Okay.
Christmas party.
You furnish the meats.
Okay, commission, I know it's been a long one. Appreciate everybody's participation and hanging in there with us. Public, I appreciate all the help. I've told you that already, but you guys as well that joined the steering committee and gave us back some invaluable information and a segment of the population that we had kind of just not involved for whatever reason. I appreciate all the help on that. And the fact that you guys were willing to have meetings outside of the steering committee meetings and poll the audience, so to speak, and bring that information back to us, that was invaluable as well. This has been a learning experience for me for sure, and I think a lot of us, but I think the plan that we're sending to commissioners is the best that it's been up to this point in time. So we'll see what happens with those guys. Bob, Gary, good luck. Go ahead, Bill.
Being that the next meeting is the 20th, which I'm scheduled to have my other knee replaced that day.
No,
So I
can't
guess
do-
this is my last planning and zoning meeting, so that's because
Bill is by being the surveyor, is on the commission, so this will be his last meeting because he's going in for surgery. So I'd like to publicly thank Bill for his time and effort. His knowledge, as far as real estate goes, has been invaluable, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way. We do have an open position. I have talked to a couple people, I'll get with you, to try to fill a position on this board. There is one seat open currently. If anyone out there is just dying to jump on here, the commissioners appoint these people, so Gary's sitting right there, Bob's sitting right there. I'm sure they have an open here. But anyway, does anyone else have anything about that piece of the meeting before we move on to new business? Okay. New business, 2023 calendar. This was in our packet. I looked through it to check against the school calendar, and they just sent us the new calendar today.
Yeah.
So if I see anything, I'll get it to you. I haven't had a chance to compare the two for spring break and for.
And I think I tried to make sure that everything was at.
Right. So.
Might be fall break the only one that I didn't have.
So as presented today at this current time, this is our calendar. I would take a motion to
I'll
approve.
make a motion that we accept.
Donna made the motion to approve the calendar for 2023. I'm gonna give it to Mike this time, okay? Seconded by Mike Swafford. All in favor of accepting this calendar as our 2023 meeting calendar? Show of hands. That's 8-0. All right.
7-0, I didn't vote because I'm not going to be here for something.
7-0, 1 abstain. And now it brings us to public comments. Yes, sir.
I would be indulgent in my own conscience. I think you all have been very, very serious mistake. And I realize that you think you're doing the right thing. But believe me, once this thing gets fired up like it did in Howard County, you guys need to talk to people in Howard County and the counties around that regional area. You'll find out it does not work like what you've been told. But you have to learn that yourself. Me telling you don't mean nothing, obviously. But check it out yourself, and you'll find out it does not work like what you think it works. And that's it. I'm saying.
Anyone else? Oh. Plan Commission comments, anybody? Yes, sir, Mike?
I'd just like to thank everybody that's worked on this plan. I know Marcy's worked hard, Scott and this gentleman has worked hard, and all the people that stepped up to be on the steering committee. It's really huge, and appreciate all your help and your input. It's our plan. It's not this commission's plan, or it's not the commissioner's plan. It's the community's plan. I know there's opposition to it, and I know that. I'm sympathetic with Ernie. I know there's stuff up there in that northern part of the county that just simply gets ignored. I know. And worked around this county all my life, and I know exactly what he's talking about. So I do appreciate everybody's work, and I hope we can move forward with it. I hope things do work out. But we've got, like Barrett said, he said it may not, and he says it won't. I hope it does. I hope we prove you wrong. But so thank you, everybody.
Anyone else from the Plan Commission? Go ahead, Bob.
I'd like to thank Jim for his dedication to serving for our lawyer who's retired. And our new man, Dana Kerr, is standing here, which he's gonna be our new commissioner, or our new lawyer for the commissioners and staff, so we welcome both, one retirement down in the board. Hope he's got thick skin.
Jim, I also wanna mirror that, you've helped me a lot and the commission, and I've never felt like you've butted in, or that's what I want you to do for me, because I don't wanna do it the wrong way. And I appreciate all your help. Sorry I haven't met you yet, but I'm sure I will. But welcome, and I'll say you do have some pretty good sized shoes to fill, but I'm sure you're capable, so. Anyone else? Got nothing, Ernie?
I said my big second. I'm still rejecting Putnam County. They want us up there. They see the value.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So move to adjourn, we do have a second, so we are adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming, appreciate it.
I feel better knowing that there's gonna be a little bit of protection.